Hello, Joe.
Hi,
How's it going?
I'm good. I'm enjoying my Sunday. What about you?
Also enjoying my Sunday. Excited to be chatting with you about No Passage Fest.
Yes.
It is less than 2 weeks away. How are you feeling?
Whew, yeah, the when I get reminded of the date, it sets in. But I'm good. I'm good. The ticket sales have been good for this, like, at this point. I'm pretty happy with that. And yeah, just currently getting all like the behind the scenes stuff sorted, like getting backline and that kind of stuff, which is not normally my wheelhouse as a previous tour manager. That's not like the thing I'm best at. So I'm good. I'm good. I will be a lot better on the day with a beer in hand, but I'm good right now.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be extra exciting for a lot of people because I think a lot of people in other countries or areas don't realize how long Ontario's really been shut down for.
Yeah.
So this might be a lot of people's first return to form after a
Mhm.
really long time. Um, has that influenced the way that you've put this together in terms of it being like kind of an extra exciting day for everyone?
For sure. I mean, almost everyone that I've spoke to, like similar, artist managers and promoters have said like, what a great time that you've picked to like run this, and like, kudos to you for being like kind of the first out of the gate. It wasn't when I had the idea of it, it was I can't even remember. I think it was May of last year, and it felt like we were. I don't know if you remember. There was like a brief summer that we were allowed to have, here in
Yeah.
Ontario. So I actually was way more optimistic. I thought we were going to be out of this in a month or two, and I thought that we would never run it so close to the wire as we have. Like we've actually switched the venue twice. We've switched the date three times. We've really had to like work with the government. And yeah, for the last 6 months, there's always been that fear if there's like a spike in cases or a new variant coming out, like, is that just going to put the nail in the coffin, so to speak? But um, I guess just like by pure determination and a little bit of luck, we've managed to be like the first like big local show coming out of this. And I don't want to jinx myself 2 weeks out, but I think we're good. Like, I like the mandates are off, the
What?
mask mandates are lifted. Yeah, I know, right? But I think we're about as good as we can be and as safe as we can be. And I really hope it's like the start and it's like the show that kicks off like a good summer and a good future for getting back to live music here in Ontario.
Oh yeah. I feel like I can't wait to just actually see bands again. And I mean, this is also kind of special because it sounds crazy to say, but it's like Pacific's album release show, despite it coming
Yeah,
out 3 months ago.
yeah, crazy, right? Yeah, I mean that wasn't even something that I even took into consideration. I thought like Pacific would be a great headliner. We got in contact and they were down for it, and then their agent kind of brought it to me like, hey, like we did put out a new album. It's been doing really well, but we actually haven't been able to like play it or do anything with it since its release. Like, a little bit late here, but would you mind if we promote it as this? And I was like, God, yeah. Like, I'm sure you've listened to the record. It's great. Just, yeah, an added incentive, right, to make the show extra special.
Absolutely. And I mean, for me, as an avid show goer in the area, this is happening at a venue I've never been to before. And
Yeah.
you were telling me about how cool this place is. If you want to
Yeah.
speak to that a little bit, I think it's really exciting.
For sure. So it's run by Tim from Sonic Onion. Sonic Onion are like a big staple in like Hamilton's music scene. They've run Mills Hardware and another venue I cannot think of right now off the top of my head, but they also run Super Cool. So they are like the people really that organize
Mhm.
live music in Hamilton. They put a venue together a couple years back called Bridgeworks. It's on Caroline Street, kind of just off the highway, really, in Hamilton, and it's really like a little gem. We weren't originally going to be there. I sort of heard about the venue, and ironically, they got the venue kind of the green light for it around COVID. So even they had this beautiful brand new 500 cap venue. I think it used to be like a Royal Legion or something of that
Okay.
nature. Yeah, like something army or navy based. But it's a beautiful space. They've put like world class sound and equipment in there. And unfortunately, it's just been used for live streams for bands really to stay active during COVID. So that's like another really cool incentive. I'm excited for all the people to like come back and go to shows again, and for there to be something new about it. Like, it's been whatever 3 years for most people in the waiting, and now there's a brand new venue in Hamilton that I think will be within the next couple of months will be like the go-to for big bands in Hamilton. They've already got Dirty Neil and Pup playing thereafter in short succession. Yeah, so like I don't think it'll
Amazing.
take long before people recognize the name Bridgeworks. I think Ladwagon just played there as well, actually. So there are shows going there, and it'll get the recognition it deserves because it's a beautiful venue.
Yeah, it sounds exciting. And I think you said they also built like a second stage for you, or they are building.
Yeah. So it's you sort of come in, there's like a big sort of, foyer, merge area, whatever. And then to the right is the venue. And it's a beautiful room, but it has this like brick arch to kind of separates the rooms. And I kind of came to them, and the venue was beautiful, but I got 13 bands playing. There's no way we can run this over one stage over one day. Could you do a second stage? And I thought I was asking the world of him. And he was like, oh yeah, like and just showed me what they could do. And I was like, oh my God, like all my stresses went away in one go. So it's going to be very Warped Tour style, like band one finishes and then, band two begins, and kind of it bounces between the two rooms. And you'll see when you go that the aesthetic of the room, you can stand in the middle and you can see both stages. So it really does have, you don't have to like go down a set of stairs or like, move a lot. Like it's just really all built into one. I can't wait.
That's so exciting. It feels weird even like thinking about going to a show again, but
for sure. Yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
I went to the Every Time I Die, the holiday show, which turned out to be their last. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Heartbreaking. So I went to the Every Time I Die show in December. And that's like the first thing I've been to in like 2 years. And it just like we were wearing our masks and we were doing, but I felt like I was doing something wrong. Like I was like breaking the rules or being naughty by some regard by being at a concert again. But it was a lovely experience. And like, yeah, it's something that most music fans miss, that like enjoyment and that, rush of dopamine. So I'm so excited to like get back. And if No Passage Fest is like the first that like lights the candle for the rest of the summer, like, man, I'm all for it.
Absolutely. So your history in music, you've been a booking agent, you've been a tour manager, but is this like a new, I'm looking into like the origin story of this festival coming together. Because I know you said that like setting up backline and stuff isn't like your usual thing. How did you land on this idea for your final hoorah?
Arrogance, I think, would be the best. I'm chatting to a really good friend of mine, Mike Gavakis, who used to be the fill-in bass player for Young Culture, was a band I used to work with. And it was in the summer. We were just kind of chatting over the phone, just catching up like friends. And he said, like, hey, like, are you still doing stuff in music? Are you still booking? Are you still touring? Like, do you have any plans to? And I don't know why it came out of my mouth, but I was like, oh, like, no, I don't do shows anymore. Like, I've kind of, my life's changed, obviously with COVID as well, but maybe I'll do like one last big show. And my birthday is actually just after No Passage Fest. It's like 5 days after. So originally it was like a Joe Day birthday bash, kind of like, we'll throw one big show. And then I was like, well, how big could I make it? Like I don't want people playing my house. I'll get a venue, but how many bands could I fit? And then my last tour, really, before things sort of concluded, we did a festival run with Young Culture and Rarity, actually, about 4 or 5 different one-off festivals down the East Coast. And so I still had that fresh in my mind of like things that I really liked they did and how they made it work. And just kind of like through hook and crook, really thought it would be a cool idea. Step 1 was like trying to find a venue. Then step 2 was like, do I want one stage or two? And then I think there's like a point where once you've messaged a band or once you've like committed to an idea, you're kind of in. So I was like, okay, like this has to happen now. I've said it. I've told enough people about it. I've like, like this is I'm just gonna have to do it. So it just blew up and become bigger and bigger. And I've done most of it myself. I had like a marketing assistant help with some sponsorship stuff. Ashley Ventura, she's awesome. And Jake Carruthers did the artwork, who's quite well known. You knew it was a Jake one? Yeah. He was recommended to me. I'd never come across his work before. I know he's worked with like Neck Deep and some other really big names. Yeah, man, can't speak highly enough. Like the guy's artwork is just like you said, it's one of those things where you look at it and you know it's by Jake Carruthers,
Oh, absolutely.
which I think like speaks volumes, right? So,
Mhm.
yeah, like we've had a small team behind it, and it just kind of manifested from a glorified birthday bash into a big festival. Yeah,
Side note, when is your birthday?
24th of March. Yeah,
I'm 25th.
no way.
Yeah. I was like, wait, I can't do the math on the spot. How
Yeah,
far out
yeah.
is that?
You're an Aries too, right?
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense to me.
Yeah, exactly. Now it makes sense. Unfortunately, as much as I don't want to believe in that stuff, the ideology of what an Aries is me to a T. So
Oh
I
yeah.
can't really argue with it. It makes sense.
Yeah, me too. That's so funny. So I guess also if as a birthday bash and kind of your your one last gig,
Mhm.
you're moving out of music. How does it feel to kind of make it more of a, music going back to something you enjoy rather than something you do for income?
Sure. Yeah, like I'm so fortunate in the sense of I've pretty much my dad would say I've never worked a day in my life. Like I've
Mhm.
done things that I enjoy and found a way to make a living out of them, which I'm really, really fortunate with, and I still do. But yeah, I'm just looking forward for it to being like a big hoorah. Like I probably won't get as merry and stuff as the attendees because I have a little bit more on my mind, but um, it's not bittersweet at all. Like I love music, and it was really my first love as a kid. My dad plays guitar, my brother plays guitar and drums. I grew up listening to grunge music because I have an older brother, and like there's nothing if this is my last hurrah, I can look back with just the fondest of memories because as I've been so fortunate to have traveled and met amazing people and done bucket list things that I never would have thought of. So I think it's a really fitting end.
That's so nice. And I feel like this lineup is also very, almost celebratory too. It's a lot of bands in our scene that people have really loved and followed for so many years,
For
and
sure, sure.
getting to
Yeah,
celebrate them coming back too is also really exciting.
absolutely. Like when you're running a local festival, you obviously have to have a certain amount of locals. And I just kind of went through the Rolodex in my head of like who I was, really good friends with, who I think are great bands. And, I in my mind, I kind of cherry picked the best Ontario like current bands or try to the most extent. So I'm really excited. I think 9 out of the 13 are from Ontario. So, like there's some really great Ontario talent.
Do you have any specific ones if people are coming that maybe in the last 2 years they got into this music and they haven't been to a show like this before? Do you have any specific bands that you would recommend as your
Sure.
favorites or ones that you think people should check out?
So one of the first bands on the day, I believe, they are opening the main stage is a band from Virginia called Flight Club. I very briefly worked with Flight Club. We actually met on that final festival run that I
Oh,
was
yeah.
mentioning earlier, and I already knew the name and had come across them in different shows in the past, but saw them at this festival in Carolina, and I'm not one to often like admit I was impressed, but they blew me away. They were so tight, so good, and just a really great rock band. And we remained in good contact. I helped them out with a few things. Um, they're probably not going to be as well known as a lot of the Ontario talent and stuff, and they are on early, but I can guarantee you they will be one to check out. One of the bands that I will like always make an effort to go see because they're great live. On top of that as well, I'm personally really excited to see Exalt. I've never seen Exalt. They are headlining the side stage. I know the name. It's been a big staple in the Ontario like heavy scene for a while, and everyone that I've ever spoke to has just had like amazing things to say about them, both as people and as performers. So I'm pumped to like finally see Exalt as well.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
Something new for you too. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a handful of bands on this list that I've never seen. I've also never seen Falsifier. I've never seen a Will Away. Um, yeah, Downswing. I don't think I've ever seen. Yeah, there's so like I'm gonna enjoy it as much as a spectator as well as like an organizer.
That's perfect. You don't want to throw a birthday party where you don't get to enjoy it too, right?
Absolutely, right? You should be there to enjoy it yourself for sure.
Absolutely. So with this with this coming out,
Mhm.
what is next for you? What are you off to do after this?
That's a great question. Well, I got engaged in November.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So probably try my best to plan a wedding of some sort. Will be my next event. In the near future. I will be 30 on the 24th of March. It'll be my 30th birthday as well. So, like us all, nearing the reality of adulthood, I would like to try and buy a house and do things that I never thought were like realistic when I was working in music 5 years ago. So, just adult things. I have a 2-year-old dog that I want to make happy and spend lots of my weekend with, and probably not a lot music based, but still always being around it. I'll still be buying tickets to see my favorite bands when they're in town, and supporting the scene in any way I can, because I moved to Ontario 5 years ago. I've been living in Canada from the UK for 7 years. I've moved here 5 years ago, and the scene has been incredible to me. Like, I can't say enough good things about the Ontario music scene. It's given me a family. It's given me places to stay. It's given me a career. It's given me opportunity to travel. And if nothing else, I would love to think of this as like some form of payback. If this is my last hurrah, I hope it's a good one, and I hope I can give back the way that the music scene treated me, which was amazing.
That's so nice. And I'm so glad that you had that experience here, because I feel the same way about our scene. I think it's
one of the best. I've grew up around London and the London music scene, and spent some time living in New York and the East Coast. And I can honestly say that the quality of talent and music that comes out of Ontario on a regular basis is some of the best I've ever known. Like, bands that are on the come up here, Hazel is a great example, that's playing the festival. The music they've been putting out is just like on another level compared to like your average startup band. There's so much talent in Ontario.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today, Joe, and best of luck. And I can't wait to be there and enjoying 13 bands in one day again.
Random question, who are you excited to see? Who are you looking forward to?
Oh my God. I'm really excited to see A Will Away, actually. I haven't seen them in a few years, but I interviewed them a couple months ago now. And
Nice.
I'm excited to see them again with more familiarity with them.
Yes.
So I think that'll be a good one. The whole lineup, though, is just like, I want to see. Yeah. I feel like my brain is scrambled right now, and I'm afraid I'm going to say a band that isn't on there, because I know everybody's in like 6 bands, and I know, this person's playing, but I'm like, wait, which band?
It's all good. I'm excited for A Will Away too. They put out a new album recently, that they'll be touring off Stew, which is really good. And then there was an EP between the albums that they did, called Soup, and I just resonated with that record so much. It was 5 tracks, and I just, like, they were one of the first bands I thought of when I was looking for like out of Ontario talent, because I just have not stopped playing that EP for the best part of a year. So like, if you're going to pick your favorite bands, go through your playlists and your most recently played, and it was an option. So I've never seen them personally. I've worked with plenty of people that work with them. They've been amazing to work with thus far, and I'm really excited to check them out as well.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I will see you there.
Awesome. Yeah. March 19th at the Bridgeworks. We'll see you there.